You're listening to virtual interactive chat like you've never heard before. We are discussing issues from both sides of the political spectrum every night. Join us as we take on the two-party system.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. Hi. You got video lag, huh? Web page blocked. Huh. I don't understand. Why would there be a web page blocked? Yeah. Hogslammer, welcome. Is anyone else having problems like Ann is having on their screen? Hey, everybody at iVlog, welcome. Excuse the bells and whistles, but life is full of bells and whistles, right? Hello, Zelfire. Yeah, somebody said that they were going to shut the stream down, and they haven't. So, like, I guess Mark paid his electric bill.
Or somebody was trolling you.
Or somebody was trolling me. Or worse yet, Mark was trolling everybody, claiming he was poor when he's actually quite rich from all the money he made. Any theory will apply here. Your entire screen is covered with multiple pizza ads. So he's been doing that to generate revenue because he wants everyone to believe he's poor, which is really funny. I'm not staying at the Hilton, no, at the Marriott. Oh, I shouldn't have told him that. And now they're going to look me up at the Marriott. You know, Marriott.com, 1-800. No, I'm not there. Marriott. Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. As you know, this is an ongoing effort to present alternative views. And boy, we have them. Yeah. We have a story here that is almost shocking, brought to us by Mr. Bill, and I'll bring that to you in just a second here. Let me take a look. Thanks, El Presidente. I'm gonna bring that story to the forefront. There we go. Move this over. They make great shakes here too, all kinds of things. All right. Exclusive. FBI document warns conservatives. The FBI saved Kathy Griffin's life. Okay. I don't believe anything she says. The FBI for the first time has identified fringe conspiracy theories as a domestic threat. According to a previously unpublicized document obtained by Yahoo News, the FBI intelligence bulletin from the Bureau's Phoenix field office dated May 30th, 2019 describes conspiracy theory-driven domestic extremists as a growing threat and notes that it's the first such report to do so. That's ridiculous. Violent incidents motivated by fringe beliefs. They specifically mentioned QAnon, a shadowy network that believes in a deep state conspiracy against Trump and Pizzagate. Well, QAnon is off the grid. They don't really know what's going on, but it's funny that they're blaming them for something that should be open to discussion. Everyone has the right to ask questions about everything. We've seen it happen time and time again where Trump has taken my ideas and run with them, and then somehow the alt-right thinks he's stopping the deep state, when in fact I'm the guy who's actually working desperately to create a third party to take on the two-party system, which is controlled by the deep state. Okay, I know that there's a lot of background noise, but you'll have to put up with that. I'm on a different mic, so hopefully we can do that. Tonight's show is a 2-hour extravaganza into what you think is going on in the world and how messed up it is. I know there are a lot of people who are wondering, is the media completely overlooking what Mueller said? Because it seems like they are. Mueller said toward the end of his testimony that Donald Trump had been blackmailed by the Russians. And it apparently took 2 years for him to say that. Something in my mouth?
Maybe.
Right here?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. It's that wonderful, incredible burger you fed me.
I know.
How did they get that to taste so good? Was it pink slime?
No, science.
Science. Pink slime, I think.
One word, science.
Science, okay. Not pink slime, but science.
It might involve pink slime, but...
That pink slime burger was great.
Scientists have added the right thing to...
Something stuck in my teeth, too?
No, your teeth look good.
Okay, good. Because somebody said I had spinach stuck in my teeth. Lawmakers protest Trump's visit with event mark evolution African Americans. Why is it everything about African Americans? I don't get that. Wherever you turn, it's always about African Americans. Okay, I'll take a look at that in just a bit. They're constantly protesting Trump. They act like he's a racist. I can tell you one thing. The coffee you get at these hotels is nowhere near as good as Starbucks. I mean, it's unbelievable. They use this concentrated coffee liquid, and they pour it in with tap water when you get it at in the morning breakfast hour. So you get tap water with concentrated coffee liquid.
Or should I sit by you instead of across from you?
No, we're good. I like looking at you. You're so beautiful.
Thank you. I'll be like the audience you're looking
Yeah.
at.
It turns out, folks, that we are on the last leg of our trip, and we are rolling into town, and all of a sudden, remember that check engine light I told you about yesterday? And how it failed me at a rest area and I could barely get started because somebody actually was kind enough to say, hey, can I help you with your car? And he gave me some great ideas and we got it going.
He could see the worried look on my face.
Mm-hmm. Well, we arrived in Seattle and boom, the check engine light pops up again. We're in the middle of dense traffic, right?
Oh, yeah, very bad traffic.
We were coming in from somewhere east
Probably the
or
worst
west
traffic we've
or
seen
east.
in the whole trip.
Yeah, Seattle was like,
Besides the other place.
well, yeah.
Besides side streets and the other place.
You wouldn't believe the gridlock we faced this year. But anyway, beyond the rest stop experience, which you can watch in our video, which I uploaded last night or this morning.
Well, you can't watch the episode, but you can watch you talk about the episode.
I landed in Washington on a ship. We finished our cruise, and we arrived, and we got our car. No, I'm just kidding. We came from some location outside of Seattle, arriving, and all of a sudden the check engine light pops up again. I'm going, okay, Sarah, we're in the middle of traffic. Last time the check engine light went on, it was draining our battery, and we could barely get through to start the car. And I suggest we pull off, and without Sarah saying anything, I just pulled off. Well, I got right out of traffic, and I should have stayed on the freeway because we got right into a loop going nowhere.
Going back to where we came
Right
from.
back to where we came from, and she even used all her mapping skills she had with Google
Well, I
Maps.
was just wondering what you were doing because you said you wanted to get to a gas station. I just was wondering what you were doing.
Well, let's do this.
Sorry.
No.
I'll be over here.
Okay, because I can get a camera on you too. Anyway, let me get over here. Hang on. Oops. Are you sitting on something?
Yeah, myself.
Oh, I thought there was something down
My
there.
rear.
Okay.
That's what I'm
Let's
sitting
get
on.
another camera on her.
Sitting on my rear.
Sarah's. I'm going to give you
Anyway.
a personal
Yeah.
camera. Hang on. We have the technology. We can make it better.
Well, yeah, anyway, go ahead.
So there she is. Okay. Anyway,
No, that's weird. It's like double Sarah.
should I put you over here?
I don't know. I don't know where you should put me. Where should you put me?
How about here, and I'll put my head here.
Okay, I don't know.
Well, maybe you should.
Should I move back?
Maybe we both.
Maybe
can
we
be in
should
the
just
camera.
that's fine.
There we go. We're both in the camera.
Okay, there we go.
All right.
That works.
All right. So, let's talk about what just happened to us.
Okay,
We could have gotten an OBT2 Harbor Freight scanner for $29.99.
that's a great idea.
It would have been. It
I'll
would have been
think
okay.
about that in the future, Friday.
But the best thing to do is get to a dealership. So we got to a dealership for our car. I'm not going to tell you what kind of car we had. We got to a dealership and managed to drive it all the way, which is about 20 or 10 miles out of the way of where we were. And she found it through side streets.
Yeah. Well, he's like, I don't want to. I said, well, why did you pull off? Because I'm afraid the car won't start, or it'll stop on me. It won't start in the middle of the freeway. Okay, where do you want to go? And at first he's like, I want to get to a gas station. They pulled him to a gas station. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm gonna reset it. So then the check engine light won't show up. I'm like, that's what happened like before, and the car wouldn't start. So it's like, don't turn off the car.
Exactly.
So anyway, so I figured out side streets to get back to. Well, I shouldn't say I should say Google figured out.
Google Map figured it out.
Google
Yeah.
Maps.
This is
Figured out how to
real life
use side
technology. Real
was
life
like-
technology.
You did a great job navigating. I'm like, yeah, Google did that.
Exactly.
So
So then we managed to get to the dealership, and you wouldn't believe it. They had a loaner car for us.
Well, I called.
Well, she called.
And I called the dealership and told them, I'm like, can we get the loaner car?
Yeah.
We're on the last leg of our trip. Like, literally, we will be home tonight.
Yeah.
But then, anyway, and they're like, well, I don't know if we have a loaner car. Tell me the situation. I'm like, well, yesterday my car wouldn't start, and I haven't turned it off pretty much since, so.
So we kept the car idling at the service center, and they're going to take it and do a diagnostic on it, and it has a lot of things wrong with it. We don't know what it is, but it could be a connector in the parking system. Either way, I said check everything. Check the radiator, check everything. I want to know what's safe, what's not. Because this car just, yeah, that's the mic. This car just took a 10,000 mile trip, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
We trust this because these are the people that sold us the car. So that's even better.
Yeah.
Seattle can be very super confusing.
I would agree with you, Captain Pentacles, whatever that means.
So somebody said, yeah, Kathy Griffin said the FBI saved her life. Well, who is Kathy Griffin and why does she matter? I mean, really. Wasn't she the woman that did a terrible thing about the president? Had some sort of oh, that's right. She had some sort of a terrible image of the president.
Thanks, Gary, for those kind words of confidence and safety and relaxation. I'm just so happy that you made me feel warm fuzzies inside.
Yeah, it's really nice to know that we're safe. Thanks, Gary. People in America don't really know who I am, and that's a good thing.
Well, it's just going to be, so it's a expected bill for
yeah, what do you expect? About $2,000 in hotel costs, $3,000.
Oh, hotel costs? Probably, yeah, definitely.
$2,000 to $3,000 for a 5-week trip.
At least.
They say it costs $200 a day per person to travel. Seriously, it's a lot of money.
No, not yet. Behavior. David is still a presidential candidate.
No, I've never been a political pundit. I've always been a candidate, and if I was a pundit, I'd be making money doing this. I don't make a penny doing this. The people that make money are the ones that are trying to suppress this movement and censor us. So,
driving is expensive.
It is. Gary.
I mean, I used to think flying was expensive, but now I think driving is just as expensive as flying.
Yeah, well.
And it takes less time. But it's also, I don't know, for some people it's, can be scary.
Hey, we're going to pass on that print screen. Yeah, we don't know what you're sending us. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, the Pharaoh.
Hey.
We are doing well. How are you?
I was surprised Mark didn't shut the site down, and he said he's going to be shut down today. Yeah.
Could it have been trolls?
I don't know. I have registered to run for president. We mailed it in over 3 months ago, so it should be in their docket. We mail in our FEC quarterly reports too, and they seem to manage to log those in. If they haven't logged in my registration, you haven't missed the boat. Bear in mind, the third-party concept has been around a long time, but because most people are unaware of our efforts, being the censorship is so strong, it's really incumbent upon all of you to tell people about us. Thank you.
Yes, 828. David is registered with the Federal Election Commission. And yes, we need all the luck and help and support we can get.
So we're trying to encourage everybody to talk about us worldwide, and even though we're not soliciting money from you here, we do have a donation button on our website, but very few people have ever given us any money. And we don't really expect that of you, because we know that most Americans are really on the line financially. Most of us don't have a lot of money.
David would say, pencil tucky ducky, that it's a front to throw you off the thing that...
Well, Mark's statement that he's poor is a front? Yes.
Wait, Bengalitis. David would say that it's a front for all the money that he gets from censoring David. He has to appear like he's not getting lots of money.
Yeah.
So that's why he might be asking for money because he has to have some kind of front.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
That's
So
how I see it.
I'm not saying that that's what I think or is real. I that's how David would see it.
Well, I've looked at all the numbers and I've tallied all kinds of emails from people saying Mark made tons of money and they gave them money directly, and they have testified to that. People have made millions.
Thanks, Mark has checking it out.
Mark has been censoring us, and that's what I hear from people. So I can only go by what I hear from people.
Oh,
okay.
I don't think that's a good thing. Oh, Mr. Bill, but okay, we'll see.
We have a great show. People from all around the world are trying to get in here. Last night, iVlog shut down all their guest access.
And Pharaoh, just bookmark our site. We're on every single night at this time. Every single time at this, yeah.
Check this out.
Except for Sunday.
Gary's Tune 71 says, David, I got a few grand a month to type messages putting down the ATP platform in your chat. That's another eyewitness person right here who just put it in chat. Now I'm going to put this on the screen for everybody to look at. Thank you, Gary. Yeah. I want everyone to know that this is a real thing that's been happening. A lot of you are disbelieving it, like Sarah and others. And let's just take a look at what Gary just said.
More warm fuzzies, Gary. Thank you.
Yeah, he says, David, I got a few grand a month to type messages putting down the ATP platform in your chat. Thank you, Gary, for that eyewitness testimony. That's a kind of building block that I need Sarah to look at. Now, I'm not selling anything related to this show, so please don't put anything in here advertising Mark. I in no way endorse what Mark's been doing. This has been a non-stop effort to censor us. Oh yeah, censorship is huge, and we're really victims of it. We're a litmus test for American people trying to start a political movement and being completely suppressed in our own country. This is not unusual. It happens all the time in other countries, but believe it or not, you're looking at the real litmus test.
So where did you get your money from, Gary?
He got it from Mark.
Oh, I was asking Gary. Sorry.
You often ask Mark about me. He has nothing to gain attacking. He has everything to gain. He gets paid under the table, and the money that they get to stop us, because we only have a couple venues where we can broadcast right now, they get money to stop us, and now I'm looking at a third venue. We're trying to get more guests in to chat, and every time we've tried with free sites, they've failed. Apparently other people are accessing those sites or DDoSing those sites. And I can tell you that our third site will be our own site. We'll be paying for it directly, so you'll be able to hopefully get all guests in. We're getting that up and running in a couple weeks, but right now I guess you got the servers going tomorrow. We'll be up and running in our office. We'll have our regular show hours. Mark does care. Yeah, he makes a lot of money attacking our show. I'm convinced of it. And don't be ridiculous, and don't be disrespectful of women in the show. I know that you're a transgender. We're not disrespecting transgenders here, okay? And Albania loves us. Look at that. How about that? Anyway, 2 hours of 6 to 8 was all we could do, Monday through Friday, at great loss and effort on our part. We bent over backwards to give you a show because we know that the American people need to talk about the lies being committed on a daily basis by our own government. Please. And I purged you, and now I'm muting you. Thank you. I have credible information to suggest that Mark has made enough money to buy a helicopter, a suite at Wynn Hotel. Those are $650,000, by the way. I called Steve, and he no longer handles the operations there. I was like, Steve, I was wondering if you could make me a deal, and he said, no. Steve doesn't handle anything anymore. Steve Wynn. They X'd him from the whole thing. You know, his wife alleged he had some sort of a weird thing going on. It was a complicated divorce suit, but Steve won't answer my questions anymore. And he bought a karaoke bar in New Orleans. Yeah, so you're saying these things. Is this a joke? Because Sarah thinks you're joking. She had to turn her head away because she thinks you're joking. Mark's yacht is called The Conspiracy. Tell me, are any of you joking? Honestly.
They're not going to tell you.
No, I mean, just say. So Ridiculous says, yeah, I was there. He's renovating a boat called The Conspiracy.
No, you say Victory for Cake versus Ridiculous.
Chef Gordon Ramsay, I'm not a scam artist like you, okay? If you are a scam artist. I believe in honest people getting to the White House and saving America. Call that a pipe dream. You can call it whatever you want. The bottom line is, we're not going to have a change in America unless we have good people like Sarah and I step forward and do these things. Yeah, Victory says, look at his T-shirts. They're like $200 a piece.
I don't.
She doesn't believe anything you say. So
Yeah.
no matter what you people say, she won't believe anything. He bought a new stage lighting system, a karaoke stage, really? Gary says, Dave, I'm not dishonest. I told you up front, Mark pays me to post here and censor your show. That's the best I can do. Gary, thank you.
Who?
Oh, come on.
I'm just kidding.
She's resisting all truth as it piles in front of her. She says, no, that's just not true. That's not possible. I'm sorry, but no matter what you say to Sarah, she'll think you're a troll and disregard everything you say. So even people telling the truth here won't have any validity in her eyes. That's the sad truth. So I've been doing the show with her realizing nothing about the censorship, but going along with this because she thinks that, at least I'm doing what I want to do. So I get the benefit of that. Yes, I heard that they're attacking QAnon and Pizzagate as domestic terrorist threats, psycho behavior. Yahoo published it. We've got the story. CNN's following up with it. They're just creating the illusion that somehow freedom of speech is going to be stopped. It'll never be stopped. Our country was predicated on freedom of speech. You can't stop it claiming everyone's a terrorist threat. Nobody's threatening anybody here. What makes you think this is a restaurant? We're in a bus terminal, for crying out loud. No, Conspiracy Monday is still a real issue. I take it seriously. I built the entire show around the concept that people wanted to talk about questions about their government, and I certainly will go with that. I know, you've been watching his candy wrappers on his desk and you said he's Russian. Mark is Russian, by the way. They have very nice bench seating at this terminal here in Boston. I gave up my location again. Every time I'd give up my location, I'd feel bad. Please don't come in and troll the show at iBlog. I'm bending over backwards to give you a show, so don't think for a second you can attack us. Thank you.
And I'm looking for a place on Mars. Ricky, do less.
We couldn't make it to the Iowa State Fair this year. There was a problem logistically with that whole scenario.
I'd have to go back, and I really don't want to.
The problem with the scenario is we need to get home, and we need to start doing our broadcast again.
Yeah,
These are credible people that give us links all the time. True Blue, 2018. The new whisper is Mark may be setting up camp near Mar-a-Lago with Trump's affiliations. There you go. It's going to be a drag-down fight to the end in 2020. As you know, I'm the only person who can even begin to stop the Trump machine, which has now steamrolled over the Democratic Party and has somehow bamboozled our top FBI and NSA agents into believing somehow it's okay for Russia to be involved in our government. And because I'm perhaps the only voice out there of intelligent truth and reason, I'm perhaps the only person who can stop the Trump machine from taking over the country.
Well, Dave says you're welcome then, Gary, because, if David didn't do a show, then you wouldn't be getting paid.
I'm not endorsing the behavior of censorship. These people have been honest enough to talk about the money they've been getting, and it's up to people like you to believe it. And somebody said, how are you going to stop it? The answer is word of mouth virality. I've got more word of mouth virality around the world than any other person, and that alone is going to trigger a critical mass, which will eventually reach the point where I may get TV time in America. I mean, there's a possibility if I keep doing this for another 25 years, by the time I'm, well, 85 or so,
Thank you, Ricky.
I might have a chance to get 1 second of media time. So if I make it to 85, I'll be in there. Thanks. But I think if I avoid burgers, I'll probably live longer. What do you think? What's your take on that?
That's true. Except you should eat the mustard. But I don't personally like too much mustard.
Well, as you know, I can't be stopped, and I won't stop. And the fact that they're making money trying to stop me is sad in and of itself, because it shows you how out of it they are. You can take a break.
Good.
Sarah's going to take a bathroom break. I'll be back. I'm going to stay here.
Sorry.
I'm going to teleproject for a while. No, of course I don't embrace death. Why would anyone say such a thing? Nobody embraces such thing. Do you think JFK wanted to die? Another story from Anne, 200 plus reindeer found dead in Svalbard, Norway. Probably the 5G network. Yeah, reindeer dropping like flies in Svalbard, Norway. Reindeer. Look at that, picture of a dead reindeer. I'll be darned. And these people are upset. Lawmakers protest Trump's Williamsburg visit with event to mark evolution of African Americans. Wow. So African Americans want to get in on this Williamsburg visit. Oh, you don't believe the story about dead reindeer? What do you think, 5G is safe because Trump supports it? What are you, out of your mind? Oh, sure, yeah, you believe that. Sarah's staring at the traffic outside and wondering how glad she is she's not in it. I think the 5G network is a seriously messed up technology that needs to be revealed to the world. You know, about 2-3 months ago, they tested out a 5G mast in the Netherlands at The Hague, and they found out that 299 birds dropped dead right next to the mast. They turned the signal on and 299 birds dropped right out of the sky. So these electronic frequencies are not tested, and they potentially could be very dangerous to the human population. That's not fake news, that's legit. They try to debunk it, but they can't. There's no disease in the area affecting those birds. It happened exactly the time they turned on the 5G mast. You can't escape the truth, Juicy. So they're testing 5G in your town of Albania, and many men are suffering from swelling in their testicles? Excuse me for telling you that, but yeah, that's scary. Thanks for telling me. Now, you think they're trolling me by saying that, right? That could be just a lie. Are you lying, Victory for Cat? Is that a lie? Because you don't want to lie here.
Do you think someone who's lying is going to say, I'm lying?
If they want to be vindicated in the eyes of the Lord, yes. Well, if they don't, then they get their fair share of karmic crap coming their way, don't they? Mm-hmm. You know, Mark wonders why he has pain in his abdomen. I mean,
I think I'm getting a little pain in my abdomen.
Anyone who goes against the truth. You might have had some bad meat. You might have had some pink slime.
I did not have a hamburger.
Were you shocked when you read to somebody having an eyewitness statement that they made thousands of dollars attacking our show? Were you shocked by that, or you just don't believe it, right? This guy Gary is trying to tell you the truth.
Well, Gary says he thanks you for doing the show, because otherwise he wouldn't be able to pay his bills.
I'm not here to talk about Gary's bills, but the bottom line is people are making money. Can 5G kill mosquitoes? Hey, Max, welcome. No, you can question everything and call it nonsense like Trump does. You can claim everything's fake news. But that's ridiculous. You'll never have a credible conversation with anybody. Testing my body after working out all the time. You know, this has been one heck of a summer, I'll tell you. I don't think I could have imagined a more disturbing ending to a road trip than for the car to literally want to just die on the last 100 miles. I mean, how does that happen? last 100 miles our car dies. We have to get a loaner just to drive. No, I'm a 39.5 right now. Well, whatever you're doing, Gary, you got to be a U.S. citizen to make a donation. So be rare. Yeah. What's going on? We are literally on our last leg of a 10,000 mile road trip, and it has been a nonstop effort to give you guys a 2-hour show every day, Monday through Friday. But what I can't understand, being this is Technology Thursday, is why they're putting up 5G masts in just certain areas in cities. Now, they claim that 5G is essential for telecommunications to advance, right? Even though we've got more than enough headroom in the digital frequency range that was recently acquired when we converted all our analog TV stations 1 through 13 to a digital frequency. So we could theoretically have massive amounts of bandwidth in the 4G network, but oh no, we need a 5G network, and then they put it up in certain areas only. Now, why is that only certain areas have the 5G network? And these things are 300 feet apart. They need to bump the signal from one to the other, 300 feet apart. I am at a Chuck E. Cheese. You found out. Okay, our location has been blown. We'll have to move the show. I've answered to you, Marie. Yeah, your last statement was answered within seconds of you asking it. Yes. Apparently you weren't tuned at the time. How many Americans hate Europeans? And lots of Americans come from Europe. I don't think Americans hate Europeans. Maria, of the BBC? We got Maria at the BBC here, folks. I got to tell you, Maria, if you really are with the BBC, thank you for coming in. You're one of the first. Americans actually, I am wearing body armor. This shirt was designed specifically to take 9mm bullets. No, Maria, we don't dislike Europeans the way Europeans dislike Americans, okay? You guys have had the worst possible Americans as examples. Look at George W. Bush. People die fighting for democracy. Laura and I never did that. And 45s, it can handle 45s. 44 Magnums. But Maria, I got to tell you, the impression that the Europeans have of Americans is absolutely spot on. The fact that the American people haven't stopped the corruption at the highest level in their own government, and they just sit back and watch this as the new norm for Russia to rig our elections, we must seem like a bunch of imbeciles to you. And you have every right to think of us that way. I don't see myself as an imbecile. Their Chuck E. Cheese has a donut machine in the back. We visited an exhibit this year. It was Herbert Hoover's hometown. Yeah, Herbert Hoover grew up in a small farm village in the middle of, I think, Iowa or something, or somewhere out in the middle of the Midwest. And everyone thought Herbert Hoover caused the Great Depression. And they even called Herbert Hoover, an incompetent president. And we saw a Herbert Hoover reveal that showed so much about what a great president he was, that I'm convinced now that it's a lie that Herbert Hoover was a bad president.
I agree.
Yeah.
He was a great humanitarian.
He was a great humanitarian. He gave 20 million people assistance right after World War I. He spearheaded a plan to get the victory gardens growing in America. It's not like he tried to ignore the problem. He was in there fighting to save the problem. He started the soup lines that helped the people. No, he wasn't. That's not true. He was a Quaker. They rarely have closet homosexuals in the Quaker faith. All right. But let's just look at what's happened. I mean, FDR, the man who sucked up to the Federal Reserve, the man who basically did their bidding and borrowed way more money than we needed to borrow in this country, the man that put us on the spending cycle we're in right now, is the guy that we look upon as the New Deal president, and he saved us. No, Herbert Hoover did a good job. He really did. I mean, the people that were living during that time period in the 30s, right before the Great Depression, were actually getting a little assistance. They weren't completely left out in the cold. The reason why they had soup lines is because of Herbert Hoover. He offered them soup as something other than nothing, and he cared. And you know what I pulled out of that meeting at his hometown? Sarah and I walked around where he was born and everything. I pulled out of the fact that he truly was an average American who was able to show everyone that anything is possible. It was an inspiration to look at his hometown. He really was an average American who turned his life into the presidency, and it really was amazing. Okay, so we have questions about the Mobile Travel Center. No, we got a loaner, Arthur. The dealership gave us a loaner car, and they're looking and diagnosing the problems that we've been having on the road, and they're looking at it right now, or tomorrow they'll be getting us an assessment. So we'll find out how many days we'll have the loaner car, and we will be able to handle that and keep doing shows. That's what makes the show amazing, is we do it against all odds. Yeah, and it's not easy to broadcast a show 2 hours a day on the road, I got to tell you. Yeah, the Bronfmans, that's right, Claire Bronfman, the heir of the Seagram fortune, and the Kennedys were making millions smuggling booze through Vermont whiskey trench. Good point, Max. You know, Claire Bronfman got a very light sentence, only 18 months, and she possessed tons of illegal pictures, and children were involved, and she only got 18 months. If you have any guy got that kind of a treatment, they would get 50 years. She got 18 months and $7 million fine. So apparently money buys leniency in courts nowadays. Well, I don't want to drive the crap out of a loaner. I respect all vehicles. Yeah, gassy vowel. Okay, well, Gary says, Dave, how do I stop accepting money from Mark? I need to pay the bills and my kids are hungry. I have no other options. Gary, I'm not going to give you justification to censor me or attack our show. I'm not here to justify your actions. I appreciate you telling me what's happening, and Sarah still doesn't believe it, but I've been fighting that for some time. Sarah doesn't believe anything trolls say at all. Maxed Out Credit even said Mark is promising people money. The very fact that we are censored by secret societies who fund people like Mark, who are willing to do anything for money, is a very, very telling fact in our day and age right now. We can't ignore that fact. That people are willing to do whatever. Like recently there was a shooting in Gilroy Garlic Festival, and we still don't have any solid photographs of any blood at the scene. We have a shooter that claimed he was a guy who, there was a shooter that they claimed existed. Apparently the shooter doesn't exist. Garlic shooter appears to not exist. A deep search for this person has turned up nothing. The alleged shooter didn't exist in this area. And there's been a detailed research into this. Apparently the perpetrator, Santino William Lagan, 19 years old, identified by police, he can't be found anywhere. Well, he doesn't exist. If you guys want a link, Scissorfight gave me this link. It'll tell you all about it. This is the link over here. No people found. And then we go to a witness that claimed he was shot or nearly grazed 5 times. Listen to this. Oh, excuse me. Thank you. This guy right here. The Garlic Shooting Festival was posted days before it happened. Look at that. Scissorfight, hey, how you doing? It was posted before it actually happened. And now he has another link for 153 News. I'll play that to you. Okay, good. So we have all these accumulated bits of information about the posting of the shooting days before it happened. The only way that could happen is if it was a false flag. Yeah. And this just in from Scissor Fight. Wow.
Frequency spectrum more efficiently and achieve higher data densities.
Okay, that doesn't make sense. Why would people want higher data densities near the 5G networks only? These spacings of the 5G networks was the question that Sarah's researching. For those of you who want to see the video that just played, you're welcome to go to this site right here. I know I was muted. I was letting you watch the video. Apparently the people have been paid already. Thanks, Scissor Fight. People have been paid already in GoFundMe pages to lie about the entire event. Victory, there's no need to cure anything like that. Dude, what happened? Do you have... I don't have dark black circles. No, that was a couple days ago. Yeah. I'm not, I was having a very bad lighting night. I believe it, Victory, yeah. You do realize that 5G operates in non-ionizing radio frequencies. Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Especially because they say, it says in this book that, or in this paper, which is put out by this guy that I'm reading, Harold Haas, Haas. I'm reading Wi-Fi as a paradigm-shifting 5G technology. He's arguing in favor of Wi-Fi.
I am too.
And his point is that he says in here that they actually use, this was an interesting thing. It says Wi-Fi access points have been mounted under the seats in stadiums to use the human body as an attenuator for the radio frequency signals.
Wow, that is ridiculous. To think that they're using our human body as an attenuator for the radio signal, that's just, without even testing its effect on the human body, that's just an outright insane thing to do, even suggest. My argument is that they're using these 5G bells within a radius of about 5 miles in all directions as pinch points for the population. You'll notice the highest amount of density of population in any one city with 5G networks are located right underneath or near these 5G signal systems. They're literally putting the 5G systems in place near the most amount of people all across the country. I mean, if they wanted to weaponize these things, they could do it and kill off a massive amount of people relatively quickly. Hey, if you're worried about the noise in the background, I can't control it. This is a Chuck E. Cheese. They're doing great work for the children, okay? If you hear kids in the background, they love it, okay? Thanks. 5G will be the delivery for the 2 frequencies that can alter your mood. That's what Max says, that these systems can alter moods. their delivery systems to alter mood. So while people are driving by, their mood will be altered. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad Sarah's researching this because, whenever we have a conspiracy theory, she likes to go out and debunk it. And I think she's going to come up with some big questions in the process. That's my hope.
Well, I do believe in Li-Fi.
I think Li-Fi is the way to go.
I agree with you with Li-Fi.
Li-Fi needs about a mile to transmit from point to point, not 300 feet. So why would they implement a system that needs 300 feet to bump from signal to signal only in a specific concentrated area where lots of people are? It makes absolutely no sense in the world.
But the problem with Li-Fi is, like, you have to think of, like, light, right? So he's really arguing in favor of Li-Fi, but mainly when he talks about Li-Fi, he's talking about inside. He's not talking about outside.
Well, outside, Google's already tested it in 5 cities, and they're getting great results.
Google's testing Li-Fi?
Yeah. Google is one of the first groups that spearheaded Li-Fi, and they've been getting great results. They can send massive amounts of telecommunication signals through 2 points of light, a lot faster, and there's less field radiation.
Outside Li-Fi?
Mark can't make anything mandatory.
Outdoor Li-Fi?
Many of you are dealing with a new layer of censorship. It's called HTTPS. And whenever you see a website that has HTTP, like our website Cool Rock, it immediately says it's an unsecured site. Simply because we don't pay the extra money for an HTTPS authenticated server. We're using a server that we're borrowing space on a guy's server who created the Scraplet model. And I'm not expecting him to get certificated so that you can watch Cool Rock. So if you're having a problem watching Cool Rock technologically, just go to Opera and download Opera, the browser. It'll work on any platform, any site. Don't worry about it. Just get Opera, okay? Hallelujah, hallelujah. Max says that 2 frequencies can work together to cause anger and violence. I know. You need to get a VPN to access Cool Rock in Albania. You go through the VPN and then access Opera, and then the site will pop up. Bastille Day, yeah, that was quite a day. But we can't really play Rush and Bastille Day. I'm in a 2-hour segment tonight. I can only focus on issues that are important. African Americans protesting Donald Trump's Williamsburg event is about as important as it gets. State leaders protest Donald Trump's visit to Williamsburg. That's a commercial. Ad will end in 4 seconds. 2, 1. Okay, here we go.
I agree with you about Li-Fi.
And local leaders gathered at Lumpkin's jail in Shockoe Bottom. That event organized to denounce hate in the Commonwealth and to send a message to the president. Alex Whitler continues our team coverage on your side at 6.
More than 24 people gathered here at Lumpkin's jail facility, also known as the Devil's Half Acre, to commemorate 400 years of African American progression. The theme was constant at the former slave facility Tuesday.
How do we make those ideals upon which...
You know, I hate to be in defense of Donald Trump on this one, but I think that they're giving him a bad rap. I honestly don't believe that Donald Trump is behaving like a racist. I don't. I don't believe that even telling people like Ilhan Omar they can go back where they came from. Wherever that is. I mean, where did she come from? Hell? No, hardly. Donald Trump has been accused of being a racist, but you notice Omarosa hasn't written her book yet, where she claimed he said the N-word numerous times. Nancy Pelosi said we must vote Biden in before we can hear his accomplishments. That's hilarious. That's funny. Did Nancy Pelosi say that about something else? Oh yeah, passing Obamacare. She said we had to vote Obamacare in before we can read about it. That's pretty funny. So the question is Max made a good point that Cuba was doing this to our embassy officials recently. You heard about that? They actually caused ear damage to some of our embassy employees. Yeah, you're right, Max. Thank you. I don't know, your IP address has been banned by numerous people because you're on a VPN, or your IP has been banned, period. I can't help you with that. Greenland record-breaking heat wave? Wow. We got a record-breaking heat wave in Greenland. Look at that. Now, the East Coast is being slammed with thunderstorms right now. Greenland melts at never-before-seen rates as heat wave that baked Europe moves north. Oh, yeah. At 109 degrees in France recently. Now we're seeing breakdowns. This is serious, folks. The dome of hot air that broke records in Europe last week has headed north, and it's melting Greenland at record rates. Wow. Now, as you probably know, folks, we had to leave our location that was surrounded by mosquitoes because we couldn't handle the mosquito attacks. They were so bad. And this nation is now under siege, record thunderstorms, 73-mile-per-hour winds on the East Coast with massive amounts of rain. If you aren't recognizing there's something going on with climate change, then you're missing the point. The problem is the Democrats think it's all coming from our mufflers, when in reality they are literally creating climate change. That's right. The mosquitoes were so bad this summer that we couldn't go anywhere without 50 of them around our heads. Yeah, and I would not doubt for a second that people are suffering from symptoms of tick bites too. Now, Sarah has a friend who had all the symptoms of another person we saw who was getting Lyme's disease, a tick-borne illness. So she she messaged the person she knows with the same symptoms and asked that person, did you get checked for Lyme's disease? And they hadn't. So I think they're onto something there. So she might have had Lyme's disease, and now she's going to look into that. It might be the cure to finding out what's wrong with her. Well, ticks are really prevalent in Texas, Connecticut especially, all over the place, but mostly in the east and the southern regions and the central areas. So there's a lot of threats of bug-borne illnesses right now. Mark is playing a game where he's pretending to be poor even though he's rich and made so much money censoring us it's not even funny. That's what's going on, okay? There's a Zika and dengue fever ban in Florida this year, yeah. My dad had dengue fever. He had it in the war. You know, my father fought in World War II in 3 tours of duty. And he said that the dengue fever was so severe he lost 60 pounds in 4 weeks. It was coming out both ends, he said. He couldn't hold any food, he couldn't keep anything in. He went from 200 pounds down to 140 pounds in 6 weeks in a hospital environment in a tent. It was only through sheer will that he survived to have me as a child. Yeah, that's pretty remarkable. Dengue fever is serious. Zika is very serious. There's been a higher incidence of Zika in Brazil, and they can't really attribute it to anything other than the mosquito. But I attribute it to a possible cause, and that would be Fukushima. Ever since Fukushima, there's been a massive radiation flow into the Brazilian area, and it could easily create the environment for the growth of such illnesses. And Zika fever imitates contamination from radiation. So there's that factor. It could actually be a Zika or radiation poisoning, one or the other. So, no, you can't tell me 5G mosquitoes are the worst. I don't believe that, no. No, you're just making up stories to make it seem like you know what you're talking about, Guest 415, when you don't. You're trying to pretend like you're scamming us now, and it's not working. There are real people that really get money, scam us. You're not one of them. Susan, I don't. I've had a little eye thing going on because I've been staring at cars all the time. I just drove about 500 miles, if that helps you. There you go. No, not at all. That's a very sick thing to say. Wow. No, we're broadcasting from a pretty loud area. Yeah. Okay, so more illnesses at the Havana location have prompted at U.S. Embassy in Havana prompt evacuation of more diplomats. Well, this was an old story, 2017, but yeah, it's the same type of technology, radio frequency technology, that can cause irreparable damage to your hearing. Yeah, good point. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Right on, man. Okay, we're going to go live to a man who claimed he saw some serious things. Bullets fly right in front of him at Gilroy. Let's go to that video.
First of all, you seem like you're in like amazing spirits, but yeah, I am blessed to be alive right now. God's hand was watching over me. I went to the doctors. They checked me out and said I got grazed by 5 to 7 different bullets, and 2 of them were in my upper back area. There was one that went through the fat and right out, and my my right thigh, and right above that one went through. Didn't go through. Cut through all the skin and a little layer of fat as well, but wasn't through and through. Just kind of like grazed me enough to really leave a little wound. And then I got grazed a couple times. I got grazed one time in this back leg, one time on my arm, and then I got a bunch of shrapnel in my left leg, my left calf, some in my right calf, and a little bit in.
He got hit by 5 to 7 bullets, he said. He got grazed by 5 to 7 bullets, yet he didn't show one single image of his bullet wound at all. And we're supposed to believe this guy. This is unbelievable. Crank those blenders, ladies. That's right. Hear the laughter in the background? That's people laughing at the machine. Yeah. It's better to laugh at the machine than to fight it. Accept the machine. Accept the technology. It will completely alter your life. How did he get grazed by 6 bullets, 7 bullets? Yeah, I know, scissor fight. It's amazing. Well, the whole thing is, if 3 people died, how come we can't find out these names of these 3 people anywhere? We look them up and they don't exist. Anyway. Okay. I believe that. Anyway, the reason why we do this is because we have the ability to do it. He graduated the Chris Mintz School of Survival, where you can become the hero and open up a GoFundMe page and make $25,000 in 2 days. Actually, that guy made $1.5 million, Chris Mintz did. Now, we just showed you pictures of people that have received tons of money already from the Gilroy garlic attack. One lady got $40,000 already. Another person got $25,000. Now, I argue that GoFundMe is a way to funnel all kinds of illegal money into the hands of people who do illegal acts. That's a very big possibility. Okay. No, we're at Chuck E. Cheese. You became a millionaire because you censored our show, doxed us, and Mark paid you lots of money. I mean, why don't you admit it? We have a confirmed report that my eyes look haggard. Hang on. Alaska is, yeah, well, you think. Okay, here we go. This is a rare moment. I'm going to apply eye makeup to my face in real time. Can I get a little help here?
Okay. You look good. Do you want to go to the restroom and do that?
No, I want to do it right now. Is that any better?
Am I helping you?
Yeah, is it any better?
Do you have the other eye makeup? Do you want me to do it for you?
No, I don't have the other eye. I was left with this. That was in another bag that was thrown in a container, which put in another container, and ended up in another container.
You want a little bit more? Yeah.
Right here?
Sure.
Or here?
Down below that. There is good, but down here.
Because according to
right here.
According to the UHF people, I look haggard and old and really sick.
That's better. You want me to do it?
No, I mean, well, normally a person with an eye makeup person would do that, but
makeup.
No, you got plenty in your finger, believe me.
No. You need that, but you really do it. Sorry.
Want to do this one now too? We'll get this eye makeup thing covered. Thank you.
Oh, I need a little more.
Oh my gosh, when do you get cake makeup on there?
Sorry, is this what you're supposed to do?
Is that right?
This is the side.
I just drove
Okay.
10,000 miles and they said I look haggard. Well, what do you think? My car broke down 100 miles from my destination. Thank you. And by the way, this is Maybelline, New York. I don't represent their company, but they really do have a fantastic look. I'm going to pass in the eyeliner and everything else. I don't need preparation H on my face. Did you finish your hot chocolate already? Oh, goodness.
No,
see how fast this show goes? It's like 1 hour into it, and it's already like, did it even go on? Now, tomorrow I'm going to hopefully have my full show, but I can't guarantee it, so we're still going for the 6 to 8 show tomorrow. Let me give you guys an update on what happened so far today. I just had eye makeup put on my eyes, working in reverse. We arrived at a hi-fi Wi-Fi spot that was capable of delivering a signal. Prior to that, we were driving in a loaner car from a dealership that sold us our car. We brought our car back to the dealership that sold us our car because it had a check engine light that stopped us from actually starting our car in the middle of a rest area in the high heat of God knows where. Yeah. I'm going to get home very soon, but the point is we had to stop. We were going to make it home tonight. We had to stop and just get a show going because we literally had to get a loaner car because our car was check engineing all over the place 100 miles from our destination. There's a website that reports my daily location, but no source noted. No one knows where we went. When I get back home, I'll tell you all about it, okay? No, the car's great. We're having it reworked at the dealership. Flood of illegal immigrants to the border outpaces last 2 years with 1.1 million expected in fiscal year 2019. So we're looking at a flood of illegal aliens coming into the country, folks, just like I predicted. Trump didn't build the wall. Remember, I'm the guy who came up with the 1,000-mile fence idea back in 2008, and he hasn't built anything. Okay, you got more on that weaponized 5G network? Okay, thanks. Flood of illegal immigrants to the border. Now, these are mostly families. And it's people fleeing economic hardship in countries like Guatemala and Costa Rica, and yes, in Brazil. People from, I'm so bored with the Democrats, I can't even talk about their stupid debate. They're calling it Centrist 2020. President confronted liberal rivals of the healthcare immigration. I'm the Centrist 2020 candidate, not these people. What a lie. But DHS, Ron Johnson has forecast a 1.1 million figure during a committee meeting. Oh my gosh. Okay. So apparently the numbers are spiking under Trump and he didn't do anything to solve it. Well, let's be clear. Let's mute that. Okay. No, I would never help Joe Biden. Unless, of course, he asked me to be his running mate, which I seriously doubt he's going to do. Joe Biden's lucky break. Winners and losers from the second night of the CNN debate. Yeah, Joe got a lucky break because he stumbled a lot during the debate. We saw him stumble, but he still looks like a better candidate than all the rest, ironically. How is that possible? Well, the Democratic Party has become so useless that anything looks better than nothing. Joe Biden got some of this week's back-to-back debates, and he got some luck. Yeah. Okay. Several of his rivals repeatedly ran down actions by Obama as a way to try to lessen the VP's ability to claim credit. And Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders wanted to eliminate Affordable Care Act in favor of a program that would abolish private insurance altogether. You know, I've been talking about a public option for years. We don't need to abolish private insurance companies who are currently operating, when all we need is a public option for people who want to pay into it. Gary, the kid factor is going to be serious because Chuck E. Cheese is very loud, and it's the only place we get a Wi-Fi connection that's this good.
Tomorrow, everything will be better.
Tomorrow, everything will be fine, but if you can put up with this for a while, that's great. Jim Comey's daughter is a prosecutor in Epstein's sex trafficking case. Are you serious? James Comey's daughter is a prosecutor in the Jeffrey Epstein case. Tell me that is not like a circle of corruption. I believe that James Comey may very well be a deep state shill. I do. I don't think that's a stretch either. When I return to my studio, I'll be developing a video that I hope to broadcast on 153news.net, which will show an even weirder connection that'll blow your mind to James Comey and his past. I'm in the process of building that video. A new criminal case involving Florida-based billionaire Jeffrey Epstein reportedly has a familiar name among the group of prosecutors. Maureen Comey, daughter of fired FBI Director James Comey, will be one of the prosecutors in the case against the wealthy financier and registered sex offender. Wow, that's amazing. There she is, James Comey's daughter. I wonder if she's 6'5". She does seem pretty tall. She's a prosecutor. She's going after Jeffrey Epstein. Wow, this is pretty good. I mean, another James Comey original. This should be interesting. Cool. Thanks for that link. It's worth looking at. Now, I want everyone to know that, yeah, she's just tall. Images, no, I have sound, don't worry. My name is David. Hi, Maria. I want everyone to know that I don't trust James Comey, okay? And I actually like the fact that Devin Nunes is trying hard to find connections to the Democrats and the Russians. So I never thought I'd say this, but thank you, James. Thank you, Devin Nunes, for finding everything you need to know. Okay. I can't even imagine showing you this picture that was just sent to me, so I'm not going to bother. Bright chart, that's ridiculous. So I've got another 50 minutes to talk to you guys before we head on down the road in our loaner car, heading to our final destination, our home. Yeah, it's kind of an amazing situation where we've been on kind of a road trip from hell, best way to describe it. But we're protected by God, and that's the most important thing. We have nonstop prayers going on around us to keep us safe. We're surrounded by negative karma, and somehow our car broke down. We had car karma today, again, in traffic. And I said to Sarah, let's get off the freeway heading home and just find a quick way to get to the dealership. And Sarah had to deploy Google Map on my prepaid phone using my minutes, which I was welcome to do. Luckily, we have a data plan on that, and we were able to get Google Maps to direct us through side streets to our dealership, which was almost impossible to do. And we're fighting traffic to get there and everything. And they gave us a loaner car, which was like a miracle. Yeah, I think Comey's very guilty of something, and I'm going to be doing a detailed research on Comey this week. Yeah, thank you for sending me that link, Max. Appreciate it. Okay, so apparently Max has a story about the sonic weapon that was developed, a technology that may have been deployed against our own consulate members in Cuba. Here is the story. Mystery of sonic weapon attacks at the U.S. Embassy in Cuba deepens. Now, this is an old story, but it's still very relevant. At least some of the incidents were confined to certain rooms with laser-like specificity, and some victims now have problems recalling specific words. Their brains were zapped, and they actually lost their memory due to these sonic weapons. The blaring, grinding noise jolted the American diplomat from his bed in Havana Hotel. He moved just a few feet, and there was silence. He climbed back into bed. Inexplicably, the agonizing sound hit him again. It was as if he'd walked through some invisible wall, cutting straight through his room. Soon came the hearing loss and speech problems.
What?
Yeah, these sonic weapons were used against the Cuban consulate we had there at the U.S. Embassy. This is a 2017 news article. So if you're wondering whether the 5G network could be weaponized, you may want to think again. Sarah's reading about various ways in which they're justifying why they're putting... I am driving to Oak Harbor in a loaner car, yes. Our mobile travel center, finally, the check engine lights finally said, we need to get checked out. So we sent it into the dealership, and they're checking it out tomorrow. I'm so sick and tired of the check engine light and then not being able to start the car. Well, as long as it takes, they're going to work on the car. It may take a couple days, who knows. The gauge of U.S. manufacturing hits lowest since September of 2009. Wow. Just like I said last week, U.S. manufacturing is at an all-time low, and this is indicative of a country that's not being repaired economically by our president. Gauge of U.S. manufacturing hits lowest since September 2009, raising concerns about the economy. My God. The noise is insane. Is this where these people eat all the time with their kids, Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah.
A gauge of U.S. manufacturers from IHS Markit fell to the lowest in September of 2009. Look at that, folks. So we're reaching a new low in manufacturing. We're heading toward the same time period that we had before. Remember the subprime debacle in 2009? Well, we're headed in that direction again, folks. Yeah. Trump lies are not going to prop up this economy. Thank you for that, Scissor Fight. What can I say, guys? We're tracking the news every day as we roll down the road. I am not going to be able to give you a full show until maybe Saturday, if I'm able to broadcast on this Saturday.
Remember, we're not doing
Oh, right.
Saturday?
That's right. We're not doing Saturday right now. Yeah, you're right. Okay, we'll take another Saturday off because Sarah wants to just unwind and.
No, you can do whatever.
No. I just want to be able
It is
to.
August, so.
I just want to get a full show going.
I guess
David,
it's
just
August
relax
now.
for a bit. Is this a joke? David, just relax for a bit. Wow, what a concept.
I guess it's August, so I guess you can start your show up now that you're.
The whole idea of the whole idea of a vacation turned into a workation / nightmare.
I know.
Just so you know, I mean, this hasn't been a vacation for me. When Sarah said, I've got 2 months off, I can go on vacation, I thought, oh no, how am I going to do that? Yeah, because I have an obligation to do a show as often as I can, and Sarah needed to go traveling to places that she needed to go to. So I said, well, let's see if we can work this out. And I got to tell you, Sarah is an amazing traveler. She just travels really well. She has the ability to organize, plan, pack, you name it. Okay. Let's do a stop here for a second. Okay, I had to talk to some of the kids here at Chuck E. Cheese.
No children. Okay, do you want me to give you a break? Do you want to go get something?
I don't need anything.
Okay, you're good.
Should I? Oh, I'll check on the cat.
I can go check on it.
No, I'd rather do it because you never know with these gang members, in this area. Okay, I'll be back in just a second. Sarah's going to give you a little time of her own. Area 51 is a breeding ground for Clone Army. I only take technology proof. You can't prove that. We found out something interesting. You remember Phil Schneider? The guy who claimed he was hit by aliens and battled aliens and had his whole chest cut open with a laser beam that aliens had hit him with. It turned out that Phil Schneider was a welder who had a welding accident. And he made the whole story up to seem important. Can you imagine? All right, Sarah's going to come in here. Slide in here. That's a famous Joe Biden saying, slide in here.
Well, the good thing is about this place is that it has a charging outlet, a place to charge my phone and my computer. I was just looking at my email on my phone. That's what I was doing. So, yes, I am a good sport. I'm a good person. Where do you think I'm at? They do say women are from Venus. What? Keith, what do you mean you haven't seen us cast for weeks? We've been casting every night except for, every weeknight from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. You've just been not missing us. Pacific time. I don't know what it is your time, but whatever it is, minus 1 hour and 18 minutes, then that's the time we start every single night. Well, weeknight, David's probably going to take it to Saturday and day after tomorrow, which, I don't know. You would think I would think he wouldn't want a vacation. I thought I wanted to go on a vacation, go traveling and seeing the country, and now I'm I like the country. I love the United States, but I also like where I'm at my house. So I think I kind of just want to settle there. But I love all the people in the U.S. and I'm very proud of you for doing your job where you are. Am I ready for school to start? Not yet. Fortunately, our school doesn't start until around Labor Day, usually right after Labor Day. So I'm really hoping I want to get home so I can do some studying to be ready for school to start. I actually am, my classroom's all set, pretty much. One thing I do want to do in my classroom is, yes, I know David's worried about the mobile, whatever, the unit, whatever he's calling it, the vehicle we've been traveling in. Yeah, I know. I wouldn't say he's like Dustin Hoffman, but he's definitely, he is in his daily routine. Yes, his mobile command unit, exactly. Actually, I know, you guys are right, mobile command unit. Anyway, we took the mobile command unit in for repairs today, but we have a different mobile command unit we're using to actually get home. Yeah, I know, it is pretty late, but then we get out late too. We don't get out until almost the end of June. What is it? We got out of school June 20th for students, 21st for teachers. I think it was the 21st, yeah. Or 20th, something like that. Anyway. Why are so many teachers so mean? Because they have to deal with every unique individual comes into the classroom and have their own personalities and their own voices and people they're carrying with them and people telling them what to do and things like that. And so they all bring their stresses into the classroom, and the teachers have to deal with all of those emotional stresses and teach them a certain grade level expectation. So then the teachers get stressed out, and the teachers also have their own family stress. And so sometimes teachers might have that, might not respond as friendly as you would like them to, because they have so many stresses that they're dealing with, and so they might appear mean. But I hope to just regroup, recover, take care of my own needs so that I am the best teacher I can be for my students coming up. I'm actually reading a book right now to help me prepare to be a better teacher, and the book is very kind of sad. I mean, it's a non-fiction book, but it's called Emotional Poverty, and it's just about all like the emotional issues that students can have to deal with in their own lives, and how do you address those issues as a teacher, and how students sometimes respond, and it's so difficult. Sometimes teachers spend more time with certain kids than their parents. It's true. It's very sad because, I mean, most of the time the kids are at home, they're sleeping, but maybe at least equal amount during the school year. Of course, summer is different. Well, I don't think it's just that though, Gazzy. I think it's also, I've got to help kids get to grade level, and I've got to take care of their emotional needs. And yes, David is still running for president. I could write my own book, Driving with David. I usually keep a journal, and I haven't really done a whole lot of journaling this trip, but my mom said I could write a little vignette about the very first day we went on our road trip, and the hotel that I almost stayed in and didn't. Well, I like cream of broccoli soup, I like cream and cheese soup, cream of broccoli cheese soup.
That's good soup. They sell that at Costco, that cream of broccoli cheese. That's really good. Hey, thank you. We should get some more of that. Costco is a possibility. No, they're closed. Yeah, okay.
And I think my pharmacy is closed too.
Oh, I know. I heard about that.
That's okay. I don't really need a pharmacy.
Well, tomorrow morning.
Well, I like this particular lotion, and skincare cream.
Yeah.
Which is really good. So.
Well, when we first signed on to this effort.
Are you living up in Canada, Master Meatball?
He is.
See, that would disqualify you from running, but.
You'd like another refill? I can let you know.
No, I don't want a refill. It's too much sugar, because I was thinking of having a chocolate dip something cone, but no.
They're saying sugar is like a poison.
David keeps me from having too much sugar. He'll be like, "Oh, do you have some sugar in that cup? Let's get rid of it."
Amber actually looked at me just now from inside the loaner car, why are you doing this to me?
What is wrong with you?
It's like, why are you being so terrible to me?
What did I ever do to you? I'm sure. She's like, leave me. Oh, God, poor thing. Poor kitty cat.
Why are you doing this to her? She's almost 17 years old in October. And she is absolutely the best traveling cat I've ever seen, and she is so good, and I just feel bad about her. So we'll be chopping the show off in about 35 minutes. So we get
34 minutes.
34 as the minutes tick by. We have to get back to the road trip, which we are on our final last leg, and we hope to get to our home this evening and wrap this up, you know? Okay, let me take a look here. You guys have been there every step of the way, though. I had to put her in a stranger's car, yeah. It's a loaner car. She's like, what am I doing here?
It was pretty sad. Like we have this
really
carrier for her. We have a cat carrier for her, and I unzipped it.
Yes.
And she like got on the floor and like went and crawled behind David's hat that was on the floor.
Yeah, she doesn't understand what's happening.
I'm sure she thinks we're giving her to a stranger or something. I don't know.
I check on her, but it really was sad. Yeah.
Oh God, she's gonna be so happy tonight when she goes home.
When she gets home, she'll be in heaven.
She'll be like, oh God, I'm sure her tail will be like wagging like crazy.
Hey, I can't get that link that you sent me, True Blue. It's not coming in. Sorry.
David is running for president, Maria.
Yes. Well, this has been a great opportunity to chat with you guys on this intimate microphone we have here. I'm using the HDMI mic because it has a stereo effect, and people can actually hear us talking on different sides of their ear right now. You can believe that.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
This is how childless people act about a cat. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, cats are like kids. They're like kitties, is what they are. And they're actually a lot easier to handle than a kid because they don't really complain. My cat is trained to not complain much, except when she's really upset.
The United States of America.
Every time she meows, she's saying, "You bastard." Yeah. You bastard. You're forcing me to be in this car. Meow, meow. Okay, well, personally, I will address all of the issues of your concern. I can't answer for the Vaughn site or the iBlog site why they cut out guest chat 2 days ago across the board. All I can tell you is that as the political environment heats up, more and more people are talking about us, and the numbers of guests trying to cram into these chat rooms are overwhelming these networks. They think they're being trolled. What they're really experiencing is they are being just virtually pressed with the truth. People want to get in and talk about these issues. Trump is such an idiot. I know, Scarewolf. And people can't get in here. And I appreciate you guys trying, but it's worse than server overload. It's blender overload. You know, they're basically paying Mark and iBlog, in my opinion, to stop people from coming into chat. Mark just allowed you in. Look at that. See. We've got our first guest chatter after I bring it up after two or 3 days now. Bottom line is Mark got rid of guest chat because the numbers were in the millions of people coming in here. These people got into shutting down our show at iBlog when the guests started reaching 38, 40 people, and they said, what's going on? And then, like just 2 days ago, we had 28 people in the room, guests, and then the next day we got none. It just shows you how they're trying to lower the boom on free speech and the American people trying to save their country. They'll do whatever they can to stop this because these people are the most corrupt people in our country, and they want to keep their power, and they're afraid that they're going to lose it with an honest couple like Sarah and I. That's the bottom line. And you can feel it in your bones that these people are scared that the people will rise up and stop them in their corruption. That's what's really going on. Okay, True Blue, let me take a look at this. I don't know what he's got. I can't get that image on my end. It's going through my VPN, and I can't seem to see it. Why do I keep getting this? I don't know. Biden slipped and said that the Trump presidency for the next 8 years. Well, it's very possible Biden is a shill, that he's been put in the mix because Trump can beat Biden. Trump can't beat a guy like me. Once I gain exposure, I'll rip him a new one. But yeah, I can't get that picture, True Blue. I'm sorry. It just doesn't pop up for me. Your links are pretty good usually, but that one is... Biden is weak. Yeah, Mark charged $7,000 a week per ad, but he says he needs cash. I know. No, this is an elaborate thing Mark put together to cover up his huge amount of fortune. One person wrote it on our chat show at America's Third Party. You can see it still. It's posted. That Mark made $900 million censoring me. That's right under $1 billion censoring me. That's like hard to believe. And since only people come in here and say these things, Sarah believes that she's being trolled, and she still believes that the whole thing is preposterous, that Mark would get money to stop us. But she'll eventually realize that what has been happening in this show has been true censorship at the highest level.
Yeah, same here, Maria. And so what we did is we drove all around the United States of America. And if you think about it geographically, the United States of America is bigger than Europe. And we drove from one end of the country, the United States, to the other side of the United States, from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, and now we're going back. And we're almost there.
We're almost
home.
We'll
be there tonight.
Yeah. We just got a picture. Okay, True Blue sent me this picture. Mark is soliciting money to keep himself going financially. He says, we need help with covering costs, he says, with increasing stability for everyone. What does that mean? You know, all I can say is I think it's an elaborate attempt to divert our attention from the fact that Mark has made a lot of money. Oh yeah, we're right in the cusp of this, right in the center of the hurricane. The storm of Americans are saying right now, and we've been in almost 20 hotels in the past few weeks, and we've heard people in our breakfast nook when we sit there in the morning talking about the need for a third party. And I would love to just step up and go, hey, by the way, I'm running for president. But I can't because it would jeopardize my security. So, let's take a look. My stream may have gone down there. We're still broadcasting. Okay, we're good.
No, sausage, not the ones we stay in.
Okay, Saffron says we utilize the third-party service that determines if connections is a VP proxy. It's just Mark's attempt to stop trolling, he says. Okay. Yeah, that's just a troll terms of service explanation. Mark has been using that for years. Recently, he admitted he actually censors us because we think he censors us, or I think he censors us. Sarah doesn't think we're being censored at all.
Of course, censored, and I think my definition of censored and your definition of censored are two different things.
I'm not trying to convince you of anything. It has to be something you have to realize on your own.
I know.
I can't tell you. I've shown you all the indicators, and it doesn't click. You know, a lot of people don't understand that there is a tremendous amount of money out there. Maybe he's trying to launder it, right? Mark could be laundering money. But I'm just saying hypothetically, I can't prove anything that is going on behind the scenes. I wish I could just take a list of financials from Mark's bank and say, here, Sarah, look at that. But I'd have to have a subpoena and a civil case and a good attorney to do that. And if he really has millions of dollars, why would I want to launch a suit against a guy with millions of dollars and the access to multiple attorneys? So that raises the huge question. Let's not deal with this now. Let's keep talking about our country. Don't you think? Okay. Yeah, the thing is, I don't really contest the discussion going on about Mark looking for money because it's not my company. Hey, Dylan. Thank you.
David always looks great. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. We keep our show rolling, and it's the purpose of our existence right now. Ironically, I would love to say, hey, my purpose is to get home tonight, or my purpose is to have a good night's sleep, or my purpose is to watch Netflix for 3 hours and doze off. But really, my purpose on a daily basis is to keep the show rolling. And I mean that. There are certain things about communicating worldwide that are being cut off left and right. If we can drop in 2 hours a night and talk to people, that's better than nothing. And this format works. We've actually tested it out in field tests throughout the country. And I think we've actually been able to pull this off without a flaw every single time. No, I can't do a show on Sunday. No. Okay, so Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking trial tentatively scheduled for subsequent 12 months, right? I believe you're right. I'm not concerned about Jeffrey Epstein's trial right now. They say it could be June or as late as September of 2020, right before the election. The bottom line is we know that Donald Trump was a close friend of Jeffrey's. For years, Jeffrey visited him at Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, we know that. No, this is just lots of noise, doing a live show in a background that's full of, all kinds of weirdness to show you the American flavor that we do every night. No, Sarah's just going to go to bed right now, but unfortunately she has to wait 2 hours. No, this is not a cool wig. This is my real hair. Yeah. But it'll get quiet here soon, so don't worry. Things will calm down. The granddaughter of RFK died after an overdose at the family's compound. Did you see this? Oh my gosh. Did you feel that earthquake just now?
No.
Or is that just me being...
That's just me rubbing your back.
Oh, that was me getting a back rub. I thought that was an earthquake. It felt like an earthquake. It's just me being pushed around. My body was ergonomically altered. My three-dimensional space repositioned. Okay, and I'd like to read this, but I think I have to log in to New York Times to do it. So apparently all I could read is daughter of RFK dies after overdose at family's compound.
You saw a picture of the compound for a half a second.
Yeah, it was a half a second of joy there. Well, I got to tell you, I think RFK Jr. really is doing good work, and his family doesn't like the fact that he's exposing dangerous problems with the CDC. That's all I can say. And RFK Jr. is getting a lot of heat from his family, and now his granddaughter dies of an overdose? This is starting to sound like the Kennedy curse, doesn't it? It seems like that.
Here I love fries because we're in a public location.
I love this background is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
And when Chuck E. Cheese is not necessarily Chuck E. Cheese, by the way. I have not validated that statement. Well, there's a lot of, right. Bruce Lee and his son, and who did The Crow. Yeah, what a tragedy. The Lee family, Marilyn Monroe. Well, I tend to believe that... Go ahead, what's the question?
Nothing.
Trump has been subpoenaed for documents relating to the Stormy Daniels hush money. Let's take a look at this. Investigation relates to $130,000 payment former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen made to former adult film star. Wow. Do you want to get a little something to drink, or because I don't want this to be over your face? You don't have to be the last few minutes here.
Okay.
I can move over.
I have to trade spots with you.
We're going to trade spots here. Hang on.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me sit up here. Wow. Hold on. Malfunction. Malfunction. Reboot. Major hard drive corruption. Beep. So, AI is coming, or it may already be here, who knows. But Trump subpoenaed for documents related to Stormy Daniels. So this is good. Now, we haven't gotten his tax returns. We haven't gotten Donald Trump's 10 years of tax returns, and now he won't present any evidence that he paid Michael Cohen, even though Michael Cohen testified to that effect. So the beat goes on. Yeah. The lies continue. Thanks for that link. Wow. Yeah, the connections, Jeffrey Epstein, Trump, Bill Clinton, the two-party system, how they're all working together. Yeah. We know that Epstein visited Trump in 2016. We know that Alan Dershowitz got a back rub from Virginia Roberts, who was 15 years old. It just became evidence that Alan Dershowitz got a back rub from a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all these things have come forth. Jeffrey Epstein's being held, 12 months? That's not the right to a speedy trial. He should be tried like next week. Get this over with. So that people who are in the know, who Jeffrey Epstein can expose, could very well be holding him at bay because they don't want him to talk. That's why he's had an extensive length here for a trial. I mean, it's unusual for him to wait that long for a trial, especially in lockup. You know, and then the claim that he somehow hurt himself in his neck last week and being sent to the infirmary, that's just preliminarily readying the world for what's to come, which obviously is suicidings of some sort. Somebody will off the guy in prison and claim it's a suicide, just to make him not talk about all the things he knows and all the elitists that are connected to his cadre of friends. Yeah, so the story could get very weird if he does talk. So putting him on ice, which I think that they're doing right now, is their only move. Now, as the election moves forward, 2020 rolls forward, the Democrats look more and more out of touch with what's happening in America. Part of this trip was just me assessing what's going on around me. And I can tell you that it's not looking good. The people of this country are percolating, but everybody's struggling. Everybody's got that worry. What's next? They say 65% of our country is $500 away from living on the street. That's serious. Okay, welcome to the show. We're going to remove you from the show and say goodnight. Yeah, so we've got 18 more minutes. You can maybe buy a couple more chicken sandwiches.
Is that what you want?
Cheese, Chuck E. Cheese sandwiches. I think 2 of those burgers are really kind of cool. Take with us.
Chicken.
The burgers.
Chicken one.
The burger pizzas.
Chicken one.
The burger pizzas. You don't like the burgers? Okay, the chicken ones. Is that real meat on the chicken?
It tasted like real meat.
Or is it GMO meat?
Did it taste like real meat? I think
It did? Okay, get 2 of the chickens. Thank you. You could talk there. She's thank you. This is cringe. Tell me about it.
Chicken?
Yeah, I said chicken, fine, I don't care. Chicken and pizza is just as good as beef chicken. I look good for 63? Thank you. What makes you think I'm a human? Part of the effort of going out around the country was to show that I am able to integrate with normal people and appear human. This is the first test of the automatronic humanoid robotic presidential candidate. Hello. Millionaire sex offender Jeffrey wanted to impregnate women at his New Mexico ranch and flood the human race with his DNA. That guy is really messed up in the head. That's weird. Yeah. I am a 2019 replicant. He's no spring chicken, no. I can tell you, my whole life is moving toward more exercise. The Wahlbergs are the ones inspiring me. It's that new show on TV with the Wahlberg family, the Wahlburgers, and they were trying to get their brother to work out, and Sarah and I were watching last night's episode, and they were saying their brother hadn't worked out for like 50 years. And I thought, that's an inspiration to anybody. I know. Well, many of you lost some weight on my recipes. Yeah, thank you. But the Wahlbergs have this great show that's, I think, it's burger related, which I think America likes meat, right? I know. Well, those Thursday cooking shows are coming back. Yeah. Sarah is not an update. She is a programmer. She is my assistant. I maintain my operational capability and fluid dynamic form with her help. This replicated reality has been produced by a CGI effect of me sitting in a restaurant circa 2020. Somebody came into the show a couple weeks ago and said they were time travelers, and this show is the most popular show of all times. I was rather blown away if that's true. I find it very hard to believe. Twitter, are we reading Trump's status at this point? Bottom line is I don't need to pick up supporters from Trump. If they haven't figured it out by now, I created the Keep America Great campaign. Yeah, we started it in 2015. You're all privy to the truth. You can see it on video. I actually mentioned it in 2015 in October. Mark Wahlberg is a violent felon, really? I've heard that story, but I haven't verified it yet. Hold on, I must use fruit enzyme to maintain my youthful appearance. Rubber does not stay fresh forever. Yes. Even rubber dries out, much like your carbon-based systems. I was thinking chicken pizza. I told Sarah chicken pizza, so she's getting chicken pizza. Yes. I function off of a biometric system which uses human food and lifelike products compostable in my system to produce methane, which then is extracted into hydrogen, operating my primary subsystems. Spring chicken? No, not the kind that John Podesta has produced in California. No, that's a whole different subject. The chicken pizza factory, have you seen that video? Oh my gosh. There's a couple of Pizzagate videos out there that have been suppressed on YouTube and censored. One of them shows John Podesta's location he bought, which was, I cannot show it, I don't have the hard drive attached to my main system. I told you that, I was on portable unit status. You are in a Chuck E. Cheese, that's why you hear things like that. Can't buy me love, love. Love, love, can't buy me love. Why are the Beatles playing in my head? Was I programmed as a child? Can't buy me love, 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 can't buy me. I don't know, sometimes you wonder. Yes, Ronald Reagan used "Let's Make America Great Again" as one of his campaign slogans. I heard Andrew Jackson used it too. It's not a new thing, but "Keep America Great" is a new thing, and I created it in 2015. It's on record. You know, the dark side of the Beatles, to change the subject, is there was a propaganda machine that's still operating today that ran the backbone of it. The technology used to manipulate the human mind was developed in the 1940s under the auspices of mind control. It soon was transferred to the MK Ultra project here in the United States, where a team of German scientists worked diligently to create mind control techniques capable of manipulating every single one of us. I know, Baltimore is going to be a big hot spot. The Baltimore congressman's house was broken into last week before the Trump fight. Yeah, they're tuning Baltimore up to be a New World Order playground to test their weaponry. I believe that. I believe that George Soros funded the original Baltimore riots, and he's working with his friend Donald Trump to do the same. Believe me, this is all playing out right before our very eyes. We've had more than enough knowledge in advance of what's coming. One thing I learned about meeting all the people in this country is every one of them has their own personal story. Isn't that interesting? Every single person in every single vehicle has their own personal story.
Isn't it amazing all the lives that are out there, David?
It is.
And you'd have to be responsible for all of those
I know,
lives.
and I maintain
a little overwhelming.
Not really. I'm maintaining a complete, clear vision of all the different individual stories in my mind, and I'm maintaining empty space within my core memory.
You want to think about all those stories and lives. I'm reading this book that's all sad.
Well, do you want to talk to the people, Sarah? They want to hear from you.
I don't want to. Well, it's a sad book. It's like everybody brings their own tragedy with them. They're walking around with all this tragic background, and there's one like psychologist quote in my book that said something like, dead family members have more of an impact on the people than living family members.
Wow, that's wild. Well, that's a heavy thought.
Because they have like this like pressure of like, I have to like do it for someone who died. I have to impress somebody who died.
You're right.
I don't understand.
No, that's
that
a very
at all.
interesting theory. I love that
because
concept.
I guess maybe because the only people that died is my like grandpa.
And you want to be a good teacher.
And I am a gardener like my grandpa.
Yeah.
So that does play into it. Maybe, I don't know. But
are you on camera? There we go.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, it's a very interesting
kind of
theory. That's a really cool theory. I mean, it's possible, you know, Carl Jung, the Neo-Freudian, came up with this concept of archetypes. And He believes it's imprinted in he believed our genetic code is imprinted much like instincts in an animal, survival instincts. Our genetic code is imprinted with our grandparents' genetic data. In fact, most of us are more like our grandparents than our parents because it bumps a generation.
You have your big ears like my grandpa.
Yeah, so many of us are like our grandparents, not like our parents. That's why our parents seem different to us. I just had a compelling urge to check on Amber, so I'm going to go do that. If you could just talk to people for a bit. Thank you. I'll be right there for our final moments.
Got it. So, yeah, all right. I have to go back and teach children very soon. Exactly. Well, I like my job a lot. That's good. Is this a subliminal idea to David to increase his presidential influence? Yes, I seem special. Well, sometimes I've been saying I'm spatial because I have a very good sense of spatial awareness with maps, and I did have an issue where I parked too far away earlier this year. I had David doing a lot more walking than he liked or needed to do, but then I found out later I really couldn't park any closer. Maybe I could have, but it would have been weird. But anyway. No, not at all. I'm really reading this, thanks to Max Out Credit, I'm really reading this kind of sad book. It talks about, how does this affect your classroom, emotional stability of students, and how, people are coming into the classroom with all these other people with them, because, invisible voices in their head, or, Johnny walked in with his mom who's, lost her job, and Juan comes in and is afraid his mom's going to be deported, and it's I don't know, anyway.
My mother wanted to live out her life through her children, and she oftentimes laid the concept of her own wants and dreams on us. Is that what you're referring to?
Kind of, no.
Not really.
I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't really know what it meant. I mean, I think what it meant by the quote is if a parent or somebody dies, some people talk more about that person who's dead sometimes has more of an impact on the person than someone who's alive. You're say a child whose mom died, and the fact that
Okay, this just came in. Robert F. Kennedy granddaughter Cerise Kennedy Hill, 22, has died of an apparent overdose after being found unresponsive at the Kennedy compound. And RFK is, of course, Donald Trump's guy who handles his analysis of the vaccine industry. And ironically, his granddaughter now dies of an overdose. So, very weird story. It's old news, really? Okay, thanks. No, Sarah doesn't run me. That's not true. You have been muted.
And Gary, I can't ask David we're not going to do an extra show tonight. No. But David might do that, tomorrow or the next day, or, well, not the day after that because that's Sunday.
We're still in the 6-day schedule as we normalize here and get back to it.
Who knows now, David might use the excuse we're in August now, so I can start doing Saturday shows. I don't know.
No. It's at this point we're still in vacation mode. I want Sarah to enjoy herself, so if I have to take Saturdays off, I'll do it.
You don't have to do anything. You can do Saturdays on.
Okay. There's a guy who you say you're totally against this guy. He's proposing a three-day limit on opioid prescriptions following surgeries. Senator presumes to know how many days of relief you should get after surgery. Look at this. Senator Robert Portman is proposing legislation that would impose a 3-day limit on opioids. It's like he somehow knows how much pain medication you need. Okay. Yeah. The last thing anyone wants to hear about is a politician planning to double down on his deadly policy by calling for further prescription limits for patients in pain. I'm wondering, first of all, on that note, why are people being limited on their use of Vicodin and things like, obviously Percocets are very good for pain. Why are people being limited on that? And fentanyl is being given out. Yeah. Fentanyl is being given out like crazy, and it causes overdoses. I'm sorry, but I don't get that. That's a grind right there. Hey, this has been a grind. I'll tell you, the road trip from hell is coming to an end. But we've been praying throughout the whole process, so I'll tell you, this is a challenge. The car nearly breaks down 2 days prior to getting back, and we're almost there. We have a loaner car, and we're on our way, folks, so keep the faith. Yeah, Friday's coming on tomorrow. I'll be doing the show somehow, somewhere, regardless. And the 6-day show is still on until we get out of vacation mode. Yeah, did you drive during the show? Yeah, you drove during this trip.
Yeah.
Talk about that, maybe.
I drove today, and I like to drive. It's been such a dream to drive our mobile command unit.
Mobile Travel Center, yeah.
Oh, Mobile Travel Center, whatever you want to call it. Vehicle, because it has so much power. I was like, wow, this thing really goes well. It's nice to drive.
Except when the check engine light comes on.
Well, whatever. That only came on once for me or something.
It's a great vehicle, except...
But it just like, I need to speed up here. Especially me driving my little hybrid most of the time. I drive this like 2001 Honda Insight, and it's like, okay, I gotta go. Chugga. And then this is just like zooming along.
Now we have a loaner car, because our car that was zooming along is got a check engine light, and it nearly stranded us at a rest area, if you can imagine that. You can imagine me at a rest area.
Well, yeah.
Going,
so yesterday,
yeah.
I think David told you guys this story, but yesterday we pulled into a rest area. The check engine light came on, and when the check engine light is on, then our certain like mode doesn't work. So anyway, he's like, oh, it's probably a vapor issue, and so he went and he had reset the battery, like pulled off the terminals, and then like that puts it back so the check engine light's off. Well, so I went to pull over to do that, and then pulled off a terminal and put it back on, and then he's like, okay, I'll turn back on the car because it's kind of hot outside. He went to turn over the car to turn on the AC for me, and it didn't turn on.
Nothing. Just clicked it, nothing.
It chick, and then it's like, okay, that's weird. And so he's like, okay, Sarah, maybe I'll just tighten up the terminal. He tightened it up. Anyway, that didn't work.
So this nice guy,
so then I'm like, he's like, okay, I guess we have to call a tow truck or something.
Yeah.
So I got my phone out, the hood's open, we're hovering over the hood. I'm like, well, do you have your insurance card so I can call?
Yeah, I was reaching my
wallet. Maybe I'll call your insurance and they can connect me to a tow truck or something. He's reaching into his wallet, and this guy comes out, he's like, do you guys need some help with your vehicle?
Exactly.
Like
it was
this
like
angel.
right out of thin air. He just arrives. Y'all need some help with your car? And he's
Super
like this
nice
really
guy.
nice guy. And he said, "Do you have any jumper cables?" And I said, "Sure, I've got jumper cables." It turns out I need heavier duty ones, and I'm gonna have to buy some new ones. I got
Yeah.
some old jumper cables from the '60s. I pulled out,
Yeah.
and he hooked me up, and we thought it was just a dead battery, and then we realized that didn't start.
And that
nothing.
didn't start.
But there
So
was
then we're
lights.
like-
All the lights were on, and everything looked like there was battery power. I could even turn the air conditioning on. So we tried it in the park. He said, "Well, I've thought about maybe putting this in neutral.
Why don't you try starting it in neutral?
Flip it on and then put it in neutral. If you got power to the dash, and I put it in neutral, and sure enough, it started right up.
So weird.
So something in the parking apparatus that's shutting off.
Yeah.
It's a transgender switch. No, it's a transmission switch. Okay.
So anyway, he's like, no, I would probably just drive this to like a auto shop if I were you, and
Yeah.
don't turn off your car till you get there.
That was my guardian angel.
Yeah.
He came by and he was with his his wife, and they
Yeah.
had a beautiful. They had a real interesting attitude, I'll tell you. And I really gained faith in a lot of the people in America and rest areas. That's for sure. I had lost faith for a while, but I'm regaining it.
So we had an experience today. We stopped at a rest area. He didn't shut the car off this time, but
Yeah, I
we're-
honored her wishes not to shut the car off, because that's what the guy said. Just don't turn the car off, because then the alternator will send information or energy into the battery.
into it. And so anyway, we stopped at this rest area, and we're switching out because I was going to drive, and I did drive. And anyway,
We're on our
and this lady comes up to us, and she's like, excuse me, sir, I need some gas money.
Oh, today.
Yeah.
Today, a lady walked right up to me. I got out of the car.
And we thought that's the least we can do, pay it forward, because we tried to give the guy, this angel guy,
She was an attractive
some money
woman.
yesterday.
She was an attractive woman, a blonde woman, and she said, "My husband and I ran out of gas, and we're trying to get to Seattle." And I said, I looked at her, and she could tell she was really, it's like right on the edge. And
Yeah.
these people are,
And they're driving a
tax-paying,
Suburban, so
regular
they probably
people.
miscalculated how much gas that takes.
Yeah, it was a big Suburban they were driving.
Yeah.
That gets like 5 miles per gallon. 5 miles per
Right.
gallon, and
Okay. All right, so
we're gonna wrap things up here,
thank you
folks.
so much. I told her, don't go to Seattle. Go anywhere but Seattle. No, just kidding.
And Master Meatball said, "I've heard that scam before." Hey, believe me, I've heard it twice on this road trip. Twice we've given $5 or $6 away to people on the road trip just to help them,
But
get through
David
life.
told you about the other lady with $5. Like, she came up to us in a motel parking lot, and then it was, she had to come up to us. She came up to him twice, and David, at first he's like, "Whoa, I'm just too busy. Can you leave me alone? I'm trying to unpack my vehicle." And then the second time she came up, and she was like, he's like, "Well, did she not see me before?" I don't know what he was thinking, but he was like, "Wow, she must be desperate if she's asking me twice." And he's like, "Well, $5 help you?" And at first she's like, "Oh, I really need $20.
Yeah, so
and he's like,
okay.
"Oh, okay, then I'll put this back in my wallet."
Thank you, Maria, for coming in. Take
She's
care.
like, "No, 5 will be great."
No, she took 5, and these people, give them $5 at this point. If this is a scam, and I've heard the scam before, it works.
All right,
So
good night,
I'm just
Maria.
going to say
Bookmark
thank
our
you.
show, and I'll see you next time.
These people obviously needed money,
Yeah.
I mean, if they're having to scam people at a rest area, they're obviously in need of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we did what we had to do to pay it forward.
Pay
Thank
it
you.
forward.
You-
Be kind.
Right.
Get some exercise, and have a beautiful evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 6 to 8. Our vacation hours continue, and we'll get our studio up and running ASAP. Take care. Have a good one.
You're listening to virtual interactive chat like you've never heard before. We are discussing issues from both sides of the political spectrum every night. Join us as we take on the two-party system